Hello students, how are you? If you remember, last time we stopped our lesson by discussing indefinite pronouns, but before that, did you read the passage on page 31, personal hygiene? Very good, I hope so. So, did you discuss some of the very important things that why we need to keep our hygiene clean? That's good. And some of the words like habit. What is a habit means? Good. Repeatedly, things that we do repeatedly. So habit is things that we do always or repeatedly. So I hope you read the passage by yourself and try to do the questions and define the vocabularies by yourself, not without a dictionary. So that's good. And the other thing that you need to remember is about indefinite pronouns. If you remember, we revised pronouns in general. Pronouns are words that take the place of noun, and also indefinite pronouns are pronouns, but they are indefinite, which is unknown. So I gave you example, if you remember, somebody, everybody, nobody. So these pronouns they take the place of noun, but at the same time we don't know who they are referring to. So we discussed this and I gave you a homework last time. Page 36, instruction B, I told you to do it by yourself. I hope you have done it. So parents, please check if the students are doing the given exercises on their exercise book and textbook. Okay, today we are going to discuss some pointers, page 41 of your books, preventing diseases. So how do we prevent diseases? So there is a passage, there is a word blending, or if you remember last time we discussed about suffixes and prefixes. So what are suffixes and prefixes? And we have also discussed about syllables. Syllable is a pause that or a short break that you take when you are reading a word. So I told you 3 mechanisms or strategies to identify how many syllables a word has. The first one is just the chin method. When you read the word, how many times the chin touches your hand, then you are going to count. If you remember, when you are reading learning about vocabularies, syllables, you have to remember the vowels. You remember the vowels, A, E, I, O, and U. These are the vowels, which means these letters are those who are helping you to read. So when you hear the sound of these vowels, then you are going to identify how many syllables a word has. So the first one is a chin method. The second one is listening these vowel letters. When you read a word, happy, ha, a, p. So words have these, when you are counting these vowel letters, then you can find or identify the syllables of a word. The third one is clapping method. When you read words, you clap or tap your leg on the ground. Then you can count and find out the syllables. So there are some words given on page 40 of your books. Try these 3 methods to identify and blend the words given there. Pharmacy. So far, there is an A sound. Ma, again A sound. C, E sound. So it has 3 syllables. So actually they are segmented for you. The syllables are written, but you are going to blend them, which means putting them together. The next one is reading passage. A boy fell sick on page 41. As I always try to say, you have to read the passage by yourself, then try to do the questions again as we did last time. The thing that I want to show you is today about modal verbs. If you remember last time we discussed modal verbs in general. So from these verbs we have seen again modal verbs. Here we have helping verbs. From helping verbs, there comes a modal verb. So these modal verbs we have seen last time can. I hope you remember. Can with a positive sentence and can't with a negative sentence when they are expressing ability. Something that we can do. Something that we can do. Today we are going to see two more modal verbs. Two more modal verbs. The first one is should and the second one is must. Must. So when just we said can is used for ability, should, and when do we use should and when do we use must? That is a question. So when do we use should? Should can be used when we are expressing advice. When you are giving your opinion for someone, when you are advising someone. But here in this case, it is expressing obligation. Something that you must do, which means if you can't do that thing, there will be a consequence. There will be a punishment for you. Let me show you the difference with example. You should sleep early. Here, somebody is giving you an advice to sleep early. It is an opinion, personal comment. But if somebody says, like your parents maybe, if they say you must sleep early, which means if you don't sleep early, there will be a punishment. A punishment. Something may happen. For example, if you sleep late, you may wake up late. So if you have a school, you may be late or you may be absent. So there will be a consequence here. But here, somebody is giving you an advice. You should sleep early. Another example we can see. You should see a doctor. This one is, it makes it clear, I think. You must see a doctor. The same sentence, but the difference is the modal verbs. As I tried to explain earlier, should is giving you an advice when someone is advising you to do something politely. But must has a consequence. If you cannot do the thing that is stated in a must sentence, there is a punishment. You should see a doctor. You feel sick, so somebody is giving you advice to go to the hospital and see a doctor. But if somebody say you must see a doctor, then your sickness is in critical condition. You are very sick. So you have to see a doctor unless you are going to be in danger. So this is the difference between must and should. There are exercises on page 43 and 44.